cup at a time. Tea time. Yeah, this is tea time. Yeah, making a difference. One cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time. Making a difference. One cup at a time. Tea time. Yeah. Time.
Well, welcome back. We are here for afternoon tea time, and we are going to be talking about bullying prevention. That's right. We have the CEO and founder, author, speaker, and advocate, Devin Moore, joining us, and he'll be speaking about his nonprofit, Race to Speak Up. So a little bit on Devin, we're going to get that, and we're going to get the disclaimer out there, and then we're going to get Devin in here, and we're going to spill some TEA with you this afternoon. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, go out and subscribe to the channel, click it, share this tea time with anyone that it resonates with. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's live tea time live show. Miss Liz myself is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any tea time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, may bring forward dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the giving time of airing. All tea time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussion for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that the show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in today's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that this show is not made for you, I will see you at a later show at a later date and time. And again, all tea times this year in 2023 are done on Thursday, 10, 3, and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If it's not a Thursday, it's a rescheduled show or a special guest that's popping in and having tea with Miss Liz. So now a little bit more on Devin Moore. Devin Moore, at the age of 14, Devin Moore became the founder of Race to Speak Up, an anti-bullying organization where he educates youths about bullying prevention and empowers them to be upstanders. Devin is a first-time author of the Devin Speaks Up children's anti-bullying book. Devin Speaks Up is about the importance of being okay with being different and loving who you are. Speaking up to someone who you trust about being bullied, kindness matters, and encourages kids to be upstanders for each other. An advocate for anti-bullying, Devin hosts Humanity Rising Behind the Scenes, the Harms of Cyberbullying webinar, which offers open conversations about cyberbullying preventions and discussions ways to implement behind-the-scenes curriculum in schools. As the host of Humanity Rising Race to Speak Up podcast, Devin interviews activists, business leaders, and entrepreneurs about how they create positive changes in their community. Devin is a psychologist major and nonprofit leadership minor at the University of Maryland. I'm going to get Devin in here, and I'm going to sip on a little bit of tea, and we're going to get started. Welcome, Devin.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. So Devin, let me get started how I get all of these teas started. I want to know who you were as a little guy and who you are now.
Okay, so when I was younger, I was really always extroverted. I was really always very wanting to speak up in general. I was also very into writing, very much a very happy kid, very much a very happy kid. But when I was at the age of 14, when I was in middle school, I unfortunately went through some very disturbed, disgusting racism by three of my former middle school classmates. And the thing is, when all of that happened, I knew I wanted to speak up, and that's exactly what I did. I spoke it to my family. But even through that, we still saw that bullying was happening, not only in that environment, but also unfortunately throughout the world. And I, as someone who understands what it's like to go through the anxiety, the trauma, the paranoia, even the depression, all those different negative effects caused by bullying, I knew I wanted to do something that helps others, something that really supports others, and speak up to others that were my age or older or younger about this bullying problem. So that's what led me to my anti bullying organization, Race to Speak Up. And even then, throughout my time of being, because now I'm currently 19, so throughout my 5 years of this anti-bullying journey, I mean, you was kind of mentioning it before, but there's a couple of different things, a couple of different titles that I have under my belt as the creator and host of the Race to Speak Up podcast, where I'm speaking to different activists about how they're making a more empathetic world, or being the host of Behind the Screen, the harms of cyberbullying, and really highlighting what cyberbullying looks like and how we can put an end to that. And even my most recent accomplishment of being the author of Devin Speaks Up, which is the shirt that I'm wearing right now. Got to represent Devin Speaks Up. Oh, actually, let me get up. But Devin Speaks Up, my children's anti-bullying book, which of course I'll speak more about later. These are all the different ways that I've really worked towards helping others. But also my younger self, I don't really know if my younger self will really realize all the things that, or even begin to imagine or fathom the things that I'm doing now. But I guess I've always really kept that extroverted mentality and really wanting to help others.
So, Devin, when did you realize that you were going to be an advocate for bullying?
I don't know if I would really word it as realize. It's more of just like I just kind of started doing certain things. And then people would be like, oh, Devin's an anti bullying activist. And then, of course, even then, I researched what that was. And then I just kind of gave myself that title because it does fully align with what I'm doing. But I guess maybe I would just say as soon as I started speaking up continuously to students, having my Race to Speak Up Against Bullying workshops, where I started going into schools and speaking to students about the different types of bullying, how we can prevent it, what can we look at, or excuse me, what signs we can look for. Maybe those were the real moments where I really realized that I am an activist or an advocate for bullying prevention.
So, Devin, what are the types of bullying?
So the main ones that I actually do tend to talk about is cyberbullying. So that's bullying through the internet, virtual, the iPhone, the phones, the tablets, computers, you name it, but it's all virtual and it's all meant to hurt. There's verbal bullying, so that could be insults, slurs, anything that's virtual that's repetitive and meant to harm. There's also physical bullying, that's literally hitting, kicking, tripping, that type. And then sometimes I like to also talk about social bullying because it's not really talked about, but it's still very common, which is just dealing with, for a very simple way to put it, or a good example of that would be spreading rumors and lies and gossiping about someone, all meant to inflict harm and pain on someone. Those are the
And,
main
you,
ones that I talk about, but there's still quite the amount more of bullying, types of bullying.
and you're right. We don't talk about social bullying enough. That's maybe something that needs to come to the table more. So, Devin, with the work that you do you work with other organizations or projects that do anti-bullying as well?
Yeah, so with my nonprofit Race to Speak Up, because it's centered on anti bullying and because I'm very heavy on support, I have partnered with with a good amount of different other organizations that focus on anti-bullying, such as Humanity Rising. That's a student-led movement to create a better world through service. So through Humanity Rising, I serve as almost just the face of their anti-bullying department. That's where the Race to Speak Up podcast, or Behind the Screen, the Harms of Cyberbullying, comes from. They've amplified my voice a lot, so that I've spoken to a lot more school, or more really corporate companies actually, but more students. Um, Parents Against Bullying, that's an organization that deals with anti-bullying, located in Virginia. The Bullying Buddy, there's a couple of different organizations that I partnered with dealing with anti-bullying, unity, as well as just uplifting each other.
Well, I'm glad that you're working with Bully Buddy, because Bully Buddy was on Tea Time, so that's cool to know. uh, I also want to connect you with one of my other guests that was on in season 1, Mark Williams, who does Pink Thursday. I think you guys would resonate really well together. He does against bullying and racism, so I think the two of you guys would work really good together. I want to get into the Speak Up. Why that title, and why so simple? Like, Devin speaks up. Was it just like that was the authentic Devin speaking? Was that I'm standing for myself, I'm standing for others? What's the meaning behind this Speak Up?
So, in reference to Devin Speaks Up, my children's anti-bullying book, the reason why I even thought to call it Devin Speaks Up is because very simple, 3 words. It's very comfortable for students to say, for anyone to say, and it very quickly and easily highlights what is even going on in this book. So it's sharing my personal bullying story, an effort to let others know of what bullying can look like and see if they can even relate to this or have seen others who have gone through this. In the up, sometimes I like to say the up is short for upstander, which is someone who supports the target of bullying. And that's exactly what I'm doing in my story, is being an upstander for someone else who also is experiencing bullying in their environment. And so when it's Devin Speaks Up, it's really to highlight and kind of like, or maybe like allude to this need to speak up for yourself. When you're going through bullying, you need to speak up for yourself as many times as possible, so that you get justice, so that you let others know what's actually going on in your community. And then also, just to go back to Race to Speak Up, which that I've had for about 5 years now, my nonprofit or my anti-bullying organization. So when it comes to Race to Speak Up, there's 2 meanings behind that. One is that we need to hurry up and speak up, race to speak up when we're being bullied. So I'm saying the same thing. And then also, we are all a part of one race, which is the human race. And we need to recognize that and see that as not a bad thing, but a good and a positive thing, something that we can unite through and learn from each other too.
I love that you say that, because we need to unite, right? We are one race. We're all brothers and sisters. You know, if you do all the ancestries, we're all connected somehow. Like, you know, like great cousin, great uncle. We all connect somehow in some way in our stories, and we really need to hurry up, and we need to start speaking up. So, what age group does your book target?
So Devin Speaks Up, it's more specifically geared towards ages 2 to 7. And actually, let me hold up just the book for you since we are here. This is Devin Speaks Up for those of you that can see it. So Devin Speaks Up is geared towards ages 2 to 7, but of course it is open to all. The reason why I say 2 to 7 is because we need to start this conversation of bullying prevention, being upstanders, supporting each other at a young age, so that we're less likely to have bullying continue on in for future generations, or when we're older. So Devin Speaks Up is geared towards ages 2 to 7, and it's also open to middle school. High school students can read it to younger students. Parents can read it to their children, and also it teaches them how to simply educate others about what bullying is, educate younger students about what bullying is at their verbal, at their language level, and then as well introducing new words such as upstander.
So, Devin, how long did it take you to write the book?
It took me around, I guess I would say 7 months to, I guess I'm just going to put a timeline on that. 7 months to officially sit down and just go over all of my ideas, take all the knowledge that I've learned over the course of my career in anti-bullying advocacy, and just sit down and write down about my story and how we can be upstanders. And so I officially released it last year in October of 2022 for National Bullying Prevention Month. So that's correct. It has been a year of Devin Speaks Up officially being out. So very, actually, let's give it up for that. So that's very good. But yeah, it took 7 months, and then after that time, I was 18, and then I was like, okay, I'm officially ready to release this. So I got the publishing company, the illustrations, and then Devin Speaks Up was officially birthed from there.
So I noticed on the cover of the book, Devin, that it's a heart. So who created the cover of the book?
So, well, first, all of the illustrations that you guys see, all of that came from my head. And then the
Ooh.
illustration company is called Sudakina Ame. So they were the ones that actually, drew it. But so when looking at the front cover of Devin, oh, actually, you know what? Okay, let's bring it up again. So
It's a gorgeous book, so we can just hold it up, right?
yeah, so with Devin Speaks Up, the front cover, as you said, it has all these students who are in a heart formation. So all of those students represent, because not one of them looks alike, or all those young people represent how we in this world are not the same. We're Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, have alopecia, or who have chipped tooth, or not of a disability, but a beautiful ability, have Down syndrome, of different religions. We have all these beautiful things that are a part of us. And I wanted to highlight that because when a kid looks at this book and they're like, oh, mom, this Black girl looks like me. Oh, dad, this Muslim girl looks like me. Like,
Yeah.
or hey, mom and dad, this kid right here, Devin, looks like me. I want kids to look at that and say, oh, I can really relate to this. I really want to see what this is about. What is Devin speaking up about? And so then they open it and they really see, oh, okay. So it's about diversity. It's really showing diversity. And on top of that, we're seeing what bullying can look like. Oh, I didn't even know that bullying was such an issue. Then they find out in this book. And then also they find out how they can easily describe it. It gives them a concrete definition. And on top of that, again, I say, upstanders, oh, so that's someone who supports the target of bullying. Well, now I just learned a new word. And now I know what it looks like in a very colorful and a very nice to look at book. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy and it's very engaging, right? Because you see the heart, so you know that there's unity, there's heart
Mhm.
in the book. Uh, so in the so you said it's between the ages of 2 and 7 to read. So is it in the schools? Do you have the book in the school libraries? Like where can the parents get these books?
So parents or grandparents or whoever you guys can get my book through my website, racetospeakup.com or /shop. And when it comes to Devin Speaks Up, so what, or if you're in reference to schools, so going back to my Race to Speak Up Against Bullying presentations, sometimes at the end, if we're able to, we donate copies of Devin Speaks Up to that school. So
Oh,
recently, I spoke at a college preparatory school, George Westinghouse, shout out to them, in Chicago. So I literally flew out for the day just to give a Race to Speak Up Against Bullying presentation. And on top of that, we were able to donate 100 copies of Devin Speaks Up. So when we're able to, we go and we do that as well so that students can read Devin Speaks Up and share this message of unity with others as well. And beyond that, I do Devin Speaks Up book readings. If you guys would like for me to come to your schools, your camps, your libraries, bookstores, your environments, I'm really just an email away. Just go to my website and scroll all the way down, and then you can reach out to me. But that's what I do. I do Devin Speaks Up book readings, positive affirmations activities, our Upstander pledge, those kids that are at the front cover. I also say that they are a part of our Upstander crew because they're supporting each other. That's why they're in the heart formation. They love each other and they want to support each other. So that is a lot of what I do with Devin Speaks Up, as well as with my Race to Speak Up Against Bullying workshops.
I think it's really cool what you're doing, and I think it's going to impact a lot of lives, Devin. Really want to thank you for doing that. Sometimes our hard stories are what makes the difference, right? We have to go through it in order to be that voice. So, how do you feel about being the voice of Speak Up?
Of Race to Speak Up, or Devin Speaks Up, or just like everything?
All of them, all in one. How do you feel that you're the voice that has to
I
speak
mean,
up?
I feel proud of my own self as a young entrepreneur. Like, who starts an organization at 14? You know, like
Right?
it's kind of interesting. But I've also met other young entrepreneurs too. But it feels very nice being able to be proud of something that I created, that I have made successful. And it's not just me. I had a lot of support. My family supports me, other organizations support me. So when it comes to that specifically, but just being able to take just an idea and then go forth with it. And the way that I know that it's successful is, like, I've spoken in front of thousands of students. I've spoken in front of thousands of parents too, or teachers or staff, whoever is with the students. And when at the end they tell me their bullying stories, because might be a little uncomfortable saying in front of everyone, or during the presentation if they're comfortable and they're saying it, or if they're reaching out to me on social media, because a lot of them do like to do that, it's a bit easier for them. Those are the moments where I feel, I know that I am doing what I love to do, and I know that it's actually, the message is coming across, the message is being heard. So those are the moments that I really feel happy, this warmth that comes to my heart. That's what I feel when moments like that happen. Like, it's letting me know that, yes, Devin, you are successful in what you're doing. And in a way, this could also be a beginning, or I could still be at the beginning. I don't know how long I'm going to be having my organization for, or Devin Speaks Up, that's like confirmed in concrete, but I don't know how long I'm having my organization for, even though that's also confirmed in concrete. But there's so many things that I can do. I am only 19. I'm a sophomore in college. Like, I'm still young. So there's so many things that I will be able to do in the future.
I didn't realize you were 19, Devin.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. I'm still, I guess you could say that's a teenager, but legally I'm an adult. How old did you think I was?
I thought you were 21.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Not yet, right?
Yeah, no,
It's still time to grow.
yeah,
The reason why I asked you that question on how you felt is because when I asked you one word to describe yourself, you gave me the word leader. And you just described what a leader is: somebody who's trying, somebody who's going out and making a difference, somebody who's using their story to impact other people's lives. But you're also including other people, you're also working with other people. So when you gave me the word leader, what does leader mean to you, Devin?
to me, the word leader means someone who will go out of their way to support others. It means someone who will take all of the people that they're trying to help, or the individuals that they're trying to help, and do what they think is best, do what's in the actual best interest of all people, disregarding bias, disregarding any hate, any of all that. They'll do what's in the best interest of all people to the best of their ability, and actually support others, support their own self too. They'll go out of the way to try and make a better world by helping others, by leading others.
Well, and a leader is somebody who actually supports other people following along too, and growing as well. And that's what you do. Devin, I want to talk about your board of directors. I want to know a little bit about the board. How did you select the board for Race to Speak Up?
So, my board, I was really looking at others who have supported me along my journey and who really understand this important message of anti-bullying. So, Ursula Moore, that's also my mother. She's been my main
That's what I
person.
thought.
Yeah, she's been my main person who has really helped me with everything, because again, how does a 14-year-old start an organization? So she's definitely helped me a lot. Especially with a lot of our other programming as well. Michael Turner, he deals with another organization called Generations Against Bullying, and he does public speaking events as well. So I've definitely, even when I was interviewing him on my own podcast, I learned a lot from him, and I was like, okay, I want to have him. Cheryl Romanowski, very much love Cheryl. Shout out to Cheryl, as well as everyone on my board. I worked with, she was actually the first person, she and Debbie, who's the founder of Humanity Rising, were the first people that brought me onto the Humanity Rising team. And so with Cheryl, she's always been very supportive of everything that I do, even if it's just as simple as reaching out and asking me how college is, to inviting me to speak on a religious event, which is actually what I did multiple times for her. and she wants to help me in that way, in so many different ways. So all these people, part of my board, is wanting to help me. Sonia Lucoma, she's the founder of the publishing company that I use for Devin Speaks Up too, and she's a youth entrepreneur. And also, when you see Kim Henry, that is my aunt who's very supportive and also deals with the realm of writing. So yeah.
I like that. I like how your board is people who have supported you and people you've worked with, because that
Yeah.
gives a strong message to anybody out there that is creating a board for any organization out there. Actually know the people so that you can relate and see, and then they know your differences, and you know their differences, and then it makes it a lot easier to process as well, and it grows a healthier and healthier environment as well for everyone. I love that you have all these different people that are on, especially Generations Against Bullying. Your publisher, you're not saying just do my book. You're actually saying no, come join the team. And I like that. That's a good message to have out there. We have a question here for you. For youth entrepreneurs, do you know how to get started and where to go?
First, I would say, especially when I'm doing my youth entrepreneurship presentations, because that's also something else that I do. The first thing that I think you guys should do is figure out what you even want to do. Like, what is the main thing of what you're trying to do, as well as how you're trying to help people, or really just what you're trying to get accomplished. Then do research about all that. If you're someone who wants to create their own special type of sneakers specifically for people of beautiful of beautiful abilities, then research things that co-align with sneakers, with people who have beautiful abilities. Do your research. You really need to do your research. Listen to podcasts if they have podcasts about that, but listen to podcasts about it, shows about it. Really do your in-depth research. And then also, if you're starting your own company, if you're starting your own business, you're the ones that can create the title. So make sure that it's very unique, simple, and also catchy. So that's where I would say to start, is doing your research and then just understanding that you can be very creative with what you do. Because like, I'm creative with what I do. I got workshops that now I've become so along the lines of my entrepreneurship journey that now I'm literally going to different states, hopefully different countries in the future, but different states to educate students about something that I'm passionate about, which is bullying prevention. You guys can do the same too. You just need to do your research, but also if you guys, with what you are trying to do, one more advice I would give is if it's something that deals with really needing a lot of connections, I would say look into different organizations that you could kind of work with, be an ambassador for, and see if you can start a podcast for them so that you're already under another org that is helping you amplify your own voice, and you're creating a podcast where you're speaking to people of different organizations or different entities or whatever the case is. That'll help you with connections. So those are the main things.
I think that's really cool, Devin, that, I never thought of that, being an ambassador for another organization, also opens up a door because you're working with different parties, right? Different ideals and that. So.
Yeah. It's actually very interesting. I'm the ambassador as well as the program director for Humanity Rising. So through that realm, I've been speaking to a lot more corporate companies as well as just specific types of students, or just really any students, other ambassadors too. For Parents Against Bullying, I'm an ambassador and I'm like one of their main ambassadors. So that's dealing with me creating anti-bullying videos, as well as before for different organizations. I've actually represented their company too to speak about bullying prevention. So there's different things that you guys can do. There's different ways that you can really represent and work with orgs.
Yeah, because I just found out that you're part of the Black Student Involvement Community Organization, organizing intern or multicultural involvement community and advocacy.
Okay, so what I am is I'm the Black Student Involvement Community Organizing Student Intern for the Office of Multicultural Involvement and Community Advocacy at the University of Maryland. So I deal mainly with promoting Black student resources, events, as well as I also have the ability to create events on campus, specifically for Black students, as well as really just all types of students. Through the Office of MICA is what it's short for. So that's what I do on campus. I really wanted to see the best ways that I can specifically work more with Black students on campus and just see also work with a team that has different types of representatives in their own internship. So like there's LGBT, there's Latinx, transracial adoptee. There's a lot of different things that it has. So that's how I'm really making my voice be heard a bit more through working on campus, beyond just because people do know me for Devin Speaks Up more specifically, as well as Race to Speak Up. But that's just something I wanted to do. So now I'm doing it.
And you're in college, right?
Yeah, I
For
am. This is I go to the University of Maryland, so I am in college and just currently a sophomore.
and how's that going?
Oh, it's good. College is hard. I'm not gonna lie. College is extremely difficult and it's extremely stressful, especially when you're in one of those majors that is just like all you do is just like I love reading, but still all you do is just read a lot and you have to remember 1,000 terms. But I still would very much encourage others to go to college because it'll help you get to more places. It'll help you with connections too for those who want to be youth entrepreneurs. But I think it's definitely been a very good journey for me, at least. There's always things that colleges go through, different times, but my experience so far has been pretty good.
So, Devin, I want to talk about cyberbullying because we don't talk about it enough. There's a
Mhm.
lot of it going on around the world. So, what are the red flags to look out for when someone's being cyberbullied, and what can people do? Like, what can parents do? What can teachers do? How can we speak up? Because some people are scared to speak up. So, I want to get that message out there today that it's okay to speak up, right?
Yeah. So specifically when we're talking about effects or just warning signs of what we can look at when someone is being, I would say bullied in general, and then we'll talk about cyberbullying more specifically, is
Yep.
they may become isolated or they may isolate themselves from others. You know, that one social kid will not be social anymore randomly because, oh, actually what's happening behind closed doors is on social media, so and so is bullying that one kid and they don't feel comfortable around anyone or going to school or going to that camp or going to that library, whatever the case is. So they may isolate themselves. They may become distant from their friends, their families, any relationship or friendship. They may have an extreme amount of anxiety or even depression. Those are the types of things that you very much will see. Um, Although that's not always the case. That's definitely what I'm learning in my psychology classes. People can hide things too. But those are the types of things that you can look for, or even weight gain or weight loss, physical things, very physical things that you might be able to see. Someone is starving themselves, or someone is eating so much that they may need to be hospitalized because someone is bullying them online about their weights, or whether it be on the bigger side or on the smaller side, they're still being bullied for their weight. So those are the types of things that people can see, and that's very much just like a very simplified explanation, just for the purpose of like me being on this podcast. Very simplified version of what the signs can be. Um, but kind of looking at what people should do, and then you're gonna have to repeat one of the other questions you asked me. But what people can also do when they're being cyberbullied is the first thing that you're gonna really should do is screenshot all the evidence, because what if it's on Snapchat where after 24 hours it's deleted? Or what if it's on Instagram where someone's like, okay, I posted, a bunch of people see it, but then after 2 hours, after like 1,000 people see it, I'm gonna delete it, and you didn't screenshot and save the evidence. You need to screenshot and save that evidence so that when you're going back to the administration, when you're talking to your parent or your guardian, you show them what so and so did. You screenshot the account that did it. Will have evidence of everything. You need to have evidence of everything, and then show it to a trusted adult or a trusted whoever that will get you to a space where they are not doing this anymore, and you're showing what's actually happening in this environment or this school or this, again, wherever the case may be. And also, though you're screenshotting that, I would not suggest to look at it a lot, and just relook at it and relook at it, because that's going to make you relive what you're going through. Now, I know that I'm always saying what I went through, all the bullying that I went through when I was younger, but that's because I know that it's helpful for others to learn about what what types of bullying there are, especially
Yeah.
specifically with racist bullying. But still, it's hard to visually see that again and again and again because it's reminding you of what is going through. It's like you're reliving what's going on. So I would say once you do screenshot that and you like actually show who would help you, show them. Don't try to look at it anymore. Just don't. And then yeah, but what was your next question? I always have a lot of information. I just get things
Oh,
mixed
no,
up.
no, no. That's okay, Devin. No, my other question was like, why are people scared to speak up when it comes to bullying?
Oh, okay. Yeah, people are scared to speak up. There's so many different reasons. It could be, oh, if I speak up, these bullies are just gonna bully me more, or oh, I just don't think that I'll have support, or uh maybe they saw something happen at, like, say if it was at a school, maybe someone else spoke up about their bullying, and they saw that the target of bullying was then made to look as though they were the bully themselves. And so they don't want the same thing to happen to them that happened to that other student. So there's so many different reasons as to why someone would be scared. Or also people can be introverted. They may be shy. My younger brother, he's shy. Not that I mean, me being with what I'm doing, he would definitely speak up, but I'm just giving an example. I'm just saying, like, when it comes, there's so many different reasons as to why someone may be scared or not want to do it. Or say if they want to speak up to their parent and their parent is like, no, this isn't happening, or no, we need this opportunity. So just keep going through the racism that you're going through. It's very hard. Certain situations can be unique to certain environments, certain people. But even through that, and before I say this, yes, I know it's not as easy as what I'm saying. That's why I have workshops to let you guys know that I am working to help as many as I can. But think of it this way. If you don't continuously speak up until your voice is heard, you'll just continue to go through the pain that you're going through. You'll continue to go through whatever negative experiences, the bullying, the discrimination, the prejudice that you're going through, the hate that you're going through, and no one will know about it. Or not many people, except for the bullies and you, will know about it. So then you're going to be feeling alone, which you're not alone. I've gone through bullying. I would say, especially if you're a minority group, you're most likely going to be going through bullying, unfortunately, in this world because of just society. But even then, there's so many different reasons to be bullied, for wearing glasses, different heights, all of that. But I would say you need to speak up so that others know, so that you're more likely to get the justice, so that you're more likely to be helped and aided, so that you won't go through what you're going through anymore. Just speak up to someone you trust and continue to speak up until someone hears you.
Well, and you brought up some really good points, Devin. Take screenshots, because it is true. A lot of people that bully will put up a post and then take it away and kind of play that mental game with you that, oh, it wasn't there. It's in your head. They kind of gaslight you. They kind of manipulate the situation by putting a post up and then deleting it, or getting people to follow and taunt you and then delete those people. You know what I mean? But it's actually one person instead of five people, but they're just pretending to be five different accounts, right? Sometimes they'll do that as well. I really want to get the message out there for the viewers and listeners out there, and the ones that will watch the replay, Devin, is we need to really start speaking up, and we really need to start being the voice, because bullying happens at all ages, from a child to an adult. And you brought up something about racist bullying. I want to get into that because there is a lot of that going on in the world today. And we don't speak about it because I think there's that hidden fear of speaking about it, because of the different chords that it will tangle and all that. So I want to get into the racist bullying. What are the signs of racist bullying?
The signs of racist, okay, well, specifically going back to what I said about if a target is going through bullying, those are the regular signs. But if it's racist bullying, especially if you're the target who's going through that racist bullying, it truly, 100%, it will truly hurt you to your core. I mean, of course, again, there are specific situations, but if someone is going out of their way to hurt you for something that's so naturally a part of you, and also something that oftentimes people can first see when they look at you. You can see I'm Black when you first look at me, or at least at the bare minimum, I am a person of color. So it definitely hurts you to your core. You'll probably, I guess, when you're around the person, will definitely see a little bit of a change. So I think I would mainly say that, and again, as well as the other stuff that I previously said. It's just when it comes to racist bullying or just racism, I think we need to I think honestly, when it comes to racist ideations or racism or racist bullying, people are going to be nervous about speaking about it because, oh, what if you're a person who is not a person of color and you do want to support, but it's like, how do I support? And even though we do have all these resources on the internet to let you know about how you can support those who are people of color, it's just like, oh, I've actually spoken people who are not people of color that I've spoken to before have literally came up to me and they said, I think I might just feel guilty even if they didn't do anything to me specifically. They just feel guilty about the racism that other individuals are using to hate on to others. People have actually came up to me, maybe not many people, but they came up to me, white people have came up to me and have actually told me that. So looking at things in that light, that's actually pretty interesting because then it's like you're obviously going to be uncomfortable to talk about that. Or what if you're a person of color that is experiencing hate, but it's hurt people, and you're going through racism, so you may want to hate someone else based off of race. These are the types of things that actually do happen, but people don't want to talk about it because it's like, how are we even going to solve it? People don't like to talk about things that are that big, but don't like they can't fully understand because what if they don't have the experience of a black person or a Hispanic person or an Asian person or whatever the case is? If they don't have the experience, then they are just gonna feel like they don't know anything about it. But it's like for the people who do have those experiences and who are speaking up about just the fact that they are a person of color and these are the types of things, regardless of who you are, you need to listen to that and let them make sure that they feel respected and heard in those situations so that they feel that like, oh yes, not all this world is bad. Because I remember when I was going through that racism, I felt like all the world was bad. I felt like I was alone until I started doing research and seeing all this stuff on the news about other kids who were unaliving themselves because of bullying. I felt like I was alone. I was like, okay, I'm already in Long Island, which is very, very white, and I'm literally one of three black kids in like each grade that I went through from that middle school, like all the grades. I was one of three black kids. So I already am feeling very alone, and you never know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know what's going on. So we need to try our hardest to respect each other, but make sure that we are listening and correctly listening, not just listening, correctly listening. I remember recently, this isn't even on the topic of racism, but something recently happened where unfortunately someone unalived themselves. And I don't know what exactly the case was because it is more on the recent side, but there was an event where someone was trying to listen to what was going on and then also offer their input, but they weren't correctly hearing what was going on. They was relating their like, oh, they had a little bit of sadness because they didn't get the job that they wanted. It's different levels and different things. People want to try and relate to things so that they can understand in their own terms, but we need to make sure that we go out of our ways to actually correctly hear what is going on. And if you aren't, if that person who has the experience of a black person and you as someone who's not black is trying to listen, but you're incorrectly listening and the black person corrects you, hear their voice. Make sure that you understand then, like go out of your way to understand. Be an ally. Or even when it comes to the LGBT community, not that I'm trying to relate race and being queer, although actually things are pretty intersected if you ask me. But when it comes to the queer community, if we're talking about our experiences with facing hate based off of our sexuality or gender expression, listen to what we're going through, understand that it actually is an issue that we face, and let us know that you're here for us. Be an upstander for those who are going through that hate. Because society will just, everyone, and actually our minds naturally just assume things so that we can understand each other more, because that's all that we can do if we don't have information. So try your hardest to listen and correctly listen at that. Sorry for on rambling, but yeah, that's all
No,
that.
no. You have all good points here, Devin. And I think this is where we need to really start listening, right? It's like you said, people need to start listening, not listen to respond, but listen to understand. There's a big difference. You say I'm listening, but and then you're rambling on this way and you're going that way. You're not actually listening. You're actually just getting ready to respond, coming for another question or another answer instead of just listening. And I love listening to my guests to see where they're going to go, because sometimes you guys will share things that you might not even realize that you're wanting to share in the beginning of the conversation, and then you're like, hey, no, I want to go in this direction. And that's why I let you speak, Devin, is because you needed to get that out there about the LGBTO. Like, we need to start letting people speak and share and tell their stories, not rush them to hush them. You know what I mean? I really don't like rushing anybody. If they're telling me something and they want me to hear it, I'm going to sit back and listen. So you can ramble all you want, Devin. I'm going to listen. I'm back here listening. And I asked you that question about why people are scared to speak up, is because maybe generations of cycles have told them not to speak up. Keep your mouth quiet. That's not your business. That's not your concern.
I
You
have a
know what
lot
I
to
mean?
say.
So I
I have
want
a
to
lot.
get into that with you. How do you feel about that?
Okay, so honestly, there's a couple of different points that I'm about to bring up. So let's talk about with Gen Z first. Gen Z, we are not afraid to speak up. I mean, of course, we may be shyer, but no. We are not afraid to let others know that we think such and such is wrong. That's what I want to say. We are not afraid to let others know that this racism that we're going through in this company is wrong. This homophobia, transphobia that we're going through in this school is wrong. This being against someone's religion that's happening at this company is wrong. We're not, or wherever the case is, we're not afraid to speak up. We're not afraid to let others know that we need to embrace ourselves completely and fully in order to feel comfortable in this life. If you go on social media, you'll hear people, Gen Z people or younger people talking about, oh, I want to live my life to the fullest. I don't want to do what a lot of older generations do, where they just like be born, go to school, go to work, die. We don't want that. I want to do more. And I clearly am showing I wanted to do more by becoming an entrepreneur. So I'm like, those are the things that we need to kind of just acknowledge. I just wanted to acknowledge that. Now, when it comes to older generations who are so stuck in their ways of the past and completely looking past the fact that we are in 2023, almost 2024, they need to be retrained. Not all of them, because there are definitely a good amount that are listening to young people. I always love it when people from older generations are like, now I'm old, so I don't really know everything, but I do want to hear you, so here's your space to speak. I love that. That's what we need more of for all
Yeah.
young people. But when it comes to the older generation that doesn't even want to understand that saying this slur is actually racist, homophobic, transphobic, whatever the case is, or against people of a bigger size or a smaller size, people who have glasses, like it is rude, it's an insult. They need to understand that it actually is not, it doesn't make you feel good. No. Imagine if you was that person that you're saying that to or saying that about. You would not like that. So we need to retrain a lot of minds, because also if they're already going to be those older generations are already thinking these things, and they have children who are being taught those things in their home environment. So now those children are going to inflict hate onto other people. And then their children's children who are going to inflict hate onto other people. That, I feel like that is a pretty good, maybe not the only reason, but that's a pretty good reason as to why there's people even in my generation that hate on other types of people. So I'm like, things are taught. They're not naturally, like, you're not gonna come out of the womb being racist to the doctor, to your black doctor. Like, no, you're not gonna. You need to learn these things. I mean, yes, there are mental disorders where it's like a part of your brain is like kind of turned off, and then like the other part is turned on or amplified, where that anger or that rage emotion is more. But that's a medical thing. That's not like, if you don't have that medical thing, you're naturally not going to be that type of negative way. These are things that are taught. These are things that are basically engraved in our society. So you, as the person from the older generation who's teaching younger generations, you need to understand that you first need to be retrained, and to see, realizing that we are all, you should be unified. But even if you don't want to think that way, just understand that we are all different types of people. We have different experiences from each other. You and Miss Liz, you and I have very different experiences from each other. Like, but the thing is, through that, we need to, again, listen, retrain your mind into understanding that, oh no, you're not supposed to be thinking of this hateful in this hateful manner. And then just understand that we need to grow with each other. you know? Gen Z and generations after that, these are the next generations of doctors, lawyers, firefighters, uh, any job, teachers, any job. So we want to teach our future generations the positive and correct things, but we need your support as older generations. We need your support so that we feel fully comfortable in ourselves.
Well, and any age can relearn again, right? They can be taught again because, like you said, you don't come out hating, you don't come out being racist. It's taught, so you can be retrained, you can be reprocessed. We can change the mind process if it comes from generational cycles of racism and bullying and all of that, and if you're getting it from home and then you're bringing it outside of the home, then it's being taught. You're being trained to hate without even understanding why you hate. You might like that person, but you're being told at home, no, you have to hate that person. You can't like that person. That person's different. No, we don't do different. You know what I mean? I'm all about loving and uniting different. Different is beautiful. It is the new way of life. It is the new way of bringing humanity together. We all have stories and we all bleed red. Whether you're yellow, black, yellow, white, it doesn't matter. We're all human beings. At the end of the day, that's what we have to stand for. And that's why I wanted you on the platform, Devin, was to give that voice for the younger generations. And I have a lot of older listeners out there that I know that they'll understand why we're doing this today. Why we're sharing this today is because we're opening the minds of understanding. Start learning to listen to understand instead of listening to respond, listening to reply. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate mail. I'm ready for it. But we have to really start listening to the younger generation because the younger generation is the next generation for the future. If we don't start listening to the younger generation, our future is not going to be here. And this is why we're here. So, Devin, I know that you have to skip out soon. So I want to get, before you leave, I want to get your T. So if I give you the letters TEA, what 3 words would you give me today?
Well, okay, so the words don't necessarily, do they have to go with the
No,
letters?
no. It's your story. I'm listening. It's
Okay,
your
okay, cool.
words.
All right, we're good then. So I would say upstander and then speak up. So those are my 3 words: upstander, speak up. So the reason why I would say those 3 words is because we have race to speak up. I'm always educating about being upstanders. We need to support each other as much as we can. And then speak up. I feel like that kind of goes unsaid for, especially with everything that I've said in the past. But just to reiterate, you need to speak up as much as you can to whoever you trust as many times as you can so that you won't have to go through the bullying anymore. That's what I did. Now I'm here, 19-year-old who's a published author who sold over I think 2,000 copies of their own book, who is spoken in front of thousands of students about the topic of bullying prevention, diversity, equity, inclusion, unity, and being positive. I I feel like I definitely have done a lot, and though you don't need to do all what I'm doing, you still are able to start off small and being positive and supporting each other.
So I want to get the word upstanders because you've used that word a lot today, Devin.
Mhm.
So for anybody out there that doesn't know what an upstander is, can you tell them what it is?
Okay, honestly, I feel like a really great way to explain what an upstander is actually referring back to the way that it's described in my book. Oh, here we go. Okay, so an upstander is a person who speaks or acts to stand up for the person being bullied. You should speak up and help the other person as long as it is safe. It is a good deed. So that is a very simplified and also very great way to describe what an upstander is.
So, Devin, any final words that you have for anybody that's listening out there and who will listen to replay later?
The final words that I would leave you guys off with is just understand that you are all beautiful and unique souls. And when it comes to either being hated on or hating others, just think about putting yourself in the other person's shoes if you're hating on someone else. Think about how you feel and how you don't want to, or if you're the other side of it, how you don't want to continuously feel like that. So that's why you need to speak up. Because speak up, race to speak up, race to speak up.
And if anybody wanted to get a hold of you, how could they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so the very simplest way to reach out to me is going to my website. It's RACETOSPEAKUP.com, racetospeakup.com. Just go through or look on my website. You'll see how to contact me. Or you can follow me on social media, and we're very active on there, so you guys can reach out that way. It's just at Race to Speak Up and at author Devin Moore, DevinMoore. And we're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and yeah. So yeah, that's how you can contact me and reach out.
Well, thank you so much, Devin. It was a pleasure having you here on Tea Time. And I really want to thank you for sharing your story and being that voice for the kids out there. Again, for everyone who would like to reach out to Devin, you can get him through his website at racetospeak.com. And if you'd like to have Devin do any presentations or workshop or anything like that, that is all on the website as well, correct, Devin?
Yes.
And the book, Devin
also
Speaks
on
Up.
My website.
It's on your website, right? On the shop. Yes. Okay, I think I have everything. I think, and the podcast is called what? I want to get your podcast out there before we wrap up.
Oh, my podcast is the Race to Speak Up podcast. And if you look at it on YouTube, under my playlist, you'll also see my webinar, which is Behind the Screen, The Harms of Cyberbullying.
Oh, awesome. So there you go. We got a lot of information and a lot of good stuff out there for you. And again, Devin, thank you so much for joining me today. I know that you have to skip out because you have another class. So I want to thank you for taking the time to sit with me and to get this message out there. And for all the listeners and viewers out there, if you have any questions or any comments or anything that you'd like to relate to Devin, you can relate them to me and I will pass them on to Devin. And we'll keep it nice and safe for everybody. Again, Devin, I want to thank you, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. We will be back at 7 p.m. for the last tea time tonight, and we're going to be talking about cruise work. So we're taking you onto the ships, and we're going to take you into entertainment on the ships and the life of living on a ship and all of that stuff. This morning, we talked about Jimmy's story, abuse, poverty, forgiveness, and redemption. This afternoon, we spoke about Race to Speak Up, and tonight we're going to be talking about ship work. So they all resonate because they all have some beautiful joy and music to their stories. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we will see everybody at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the last tea time of October. If you'd like to see who's on in November, check out Miss Liz's website at www.misslizsteatimes.com. or check out the YouTube channel. Check out Miss Liz's Facebook page, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of that good stuff. I'm all on social media as well. And if you'd like to get anything from the shop is on the website. Any of the things that you get on the website do make a difference for Miss Liz, and it does help me out a bit. Also, my books are on there, so you can check those out as well. The TEA books are out there, Teaching Education Awareness. This is how we do it. And all of that good stuff. So until then, leave your questions, your comments, and your support for Tea Time with Miss Liz. And give a quick subscribe to the YouTube channel. Until then, I will see everybody at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Nancy Soul for Ship and Cruise Work.